All right, today we're going to dive into a really short but incredibly powerful chapter from the Quran, Surah Al-Qari'ah. It's one of those chapters that's just designed to shake you, to awaken your soul to a reality that's so much bigger than our day-to-day lives. So let's get right into it. So right from the very beginning, the surah hits you with this intense, repeated question. Al-Qari'ah. What is Al-Qari'ah? And what could possibly make you understand what Al-Qari'ah is? This isn't just asking for a definition. No, this is a style meant to grab your attention, to make you feel the weight, the sheer gravity of this thing it's about to describe. It sets this tone of awe, of something huge and momentous coming.
So what is the striking? To really get this chapter, we've got to start with its name. Let's break down what Al-Qari'ah actually means.
Okay, so Al-Qari'ah, the striking calamity, is one of the names for the Day of Judgment. The name itself comes from an Arabic root word that means to strike. And think about why. It's called this because it's going to strike the ears with a sound so deafening, and through that sound, it will strike terror right into the very core of every heart. We're talking about a calamity unlike anything anyone has ever experienced.
Now, to really appreciate this, you have to know when and where it was revealed. This was in Mecca early on, and that's absolutely crucial. Why? Because the message was aimed at a society that was, for the most part, pretty heedless of an afterlife, of any kind of accountability. So the verses, you'll notice, are really short, they're punchy, they're rhythmic, and they're severe. They were literally designed to be a wake-up call, to jolt people into thinking and reflecting on where they were headed.
And a huge part of that wake-up call is the picture this surah paints, a picture of a world completely turned upside down. So the first thing we're shown is the state of humanity. On that day, people are described as being like scattered moths. Just imagine that for a second, coming out of their graves, totally confused, disoriented, just fluttering around with no direction, no purpose at all. And then, what about the most solid, the most permanent things we can think of? The mountains, the symbols of strength and stability. Well, they will become like fluffed up wool. Just picture colorful, carded wool, totally weightless, fragile, so light that a tiny breeze could just scatter it all. That's what will happen to the mountains.
So what does this imagery tell us? It's all about a complete reversal of everything we know. On one hand, you've got humanity, weak, lost, completely helpless, like those scattered moths. And on the other hand, you have the most solid parts of creation, the mountains, just disintegrating, becoming weightless and scattered. It's a vision of absolute, total chaos. The entire order of the universe is upended. But then, from this massive scene of cosmic chaos, the focus shifts. It zooms in, way in, from the entire universe being torn apart right down to the individual. It's time for the moment of truth, accountability. It's time for the scales of justice. And what's amazing is how comprehensive this judgment is. It's not like just one thing is getting weighed. Nope, the sources tell us that multiple things are placed on these scales. First up, of course, are the deeds themselves, your good versus your bad. Then the actual records, the scrolls where everything you ever did is written down. Believe it or not, even the person themselves can be weighed. Prophetic traditions say our bodies will have a weight tied to our spiritual state. And finally, and maybe most importantly, the heart. The sincerity and faith inside you gets put on the scales too. This really drives home just how valuable true, sincere faith is. There's this incredible narration known as the Hadith of the Card. It tells the story of a man who is brought forward, and he has 99 scrolls packed with his sins. And each scroll is massive, stretching as far as the eye can see. He's thinking, it's over for me. But then this one tiny card is brought out. On it is the declaration of faith. So you have the 99 scrolls on one side of the scale and this single card on the other. And guess what? The card outweighs all of it. It just shows that nothing, absolutely nothing, carries more weight than sincere faith. So, after this weighing, what happens? Well, it all leads to the final sorting of humanity into one of two very different and very eternal destinies. And the outcome couldn't be more clear-cut. It's black and white. If your scales are heavy, meaning your good deeds went out, your reward is described as a pleasing life. This means a life of pure, absolute contentment in paradise. But if your scales are light, either because the bad deeds were heavier or maybe you had no good deeds at all, well, your destination is something called the abyss, or hawiyah. In this word, hawiyah,
is just deeply terrifying when you look at it. The Quran says his mother will be Hawiya. What does that even mean? Well, scholars say it has a few layers of meaning. One is that it's simply his final destination, where he's headed. Another, more graphic meaning, is that he'll be thrown in head first. But the most chilling interpretation, it's that the fire itself will become like a mother to him, an inseparable companion that he can never, ever escape from.
And just to try and put this into some kind of perspective, a prophetic saying tells us that the fire of hell is 69 times hotter than all the fire we know in this world put together. It's an intensity that's just beyond what our minds can even grasp. I mean, it's described as a fire that was heated for thousands and thousands of years until it turned completely black. So we've gone from cosmic chaos to divine justice to these eternal consequences. So what's the big takeaway here? What does it all boil down to?
I think the core message of this surah is its absolute finality. At the end of it all, humanity gets split into just two groups, those with heavy scales and those with light scales. That's it. There's no third group, no middle ground. This chapter makes it incredibly clear that everything, absolutely everything, comes down to that one moment of weighing.
And so this sort of leaves us with maybe the most important question we could ever ask ourselves. It shows us the very end so that we're forced to think about the here and now. If this life is our only chance to prepare, our only time to put weight on our scales, then the question it's really asking each and every one of us is, when that moment comes, what will our scales weigh?